Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Damage Report. I'm John Arola, and I got some fun stories to talk about with you, including this, I think, fairly amazing little interview between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. What a combo! They should be in a movie together sometime, is what I say. But anyway, we've got a number of different things to talk about. Do you know what we have coming up on the full Damage Report show? Dan Evans is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking about, let's see, AI. Tim Scott getting booed out of The View. That's going to be fun. DeSantis maybe getting some karma for his ridiculous stunts. And Donald Trump sure seems to believe he's about to be charged on the classified documents. So all of that should be fun. I hope that you join us for the full show, myself and Dan. Let's talk about some other news before we get to our main story for the pre-show. I wanted to talk about this yesterday. Didn't quite have the time. I'm going to file this under, this is the sort of thing that is incredibly convenient that Fox hosts and other right-wing pundits, it's not like it's a big focus of what they do, but they just constantly say things like this to sort of lull their audience into submission. Here's effectively what they're talking about. This is on Fox and Friends Sunday. Rachel Campos Duffy. Not one of the most important, people on Fox or whatever. But they're talking about climate activists, people who care about the environment. And she effectively says, what is the purpose of trying to save the earth when the afterlife is real? Why would you focus on that when we have this better life to come? And she is saying that the guise, and maybe the reality for her, but we hear this sort of thing often from Fox, the guise is, we're religious, and so we can breathe easy. We just live a good life, and then we move on. Why would we be obsessed with this earth? But at the same time, for people who might not be motivated by thoughts of the Bible, it is pretty convenient, is it not, to tell all of the poors that you shouldn't worry about what happens here because there's something better coming up later on? And by the way, and think about the secondary trick that's being played there. It's why should we care about what we do to the environment is the message that's being said. But think about who's hearing that message directly and who's funding that message. The people who, hey John, thank you, I appreciate that. The people who the message is being told to are being told, don't worry about what you do to the environment, we have another world coming. Follow-up question. What the fuck is the average person doing to the environment? Like there's some damage that we do with the sort of food that we eat, the appliances that we buy, the car that we drive, the power that we use, if we take air travel, that sort of thing. But individually, it is minuscule compared to the rich. The message is received by regular people as, I shouldn't worry about what I do. But it's, I should be trained to not worry about what they do. The people who do way more damage to the environment, who might or might not believe in an afterlife. But honestly, what the fuck do they care if there is an afterlife? They're living in paradise right now. And they do not want it to change. Wait, there's a new title for the Captain America movie. Okay, I'm going to look at that in a second. Don't try to distract me when I'm talking about the climate. You're doing what Rachel Campos Duffy does. But anyway, isn't that convenient? And then also, there's a defensiveness too. There's a defensiveness to, like when you are fairly explicitly saying that political decisions should be made based purely off of our religious beliefs, for many people that might not be super convincing. Why would a person who does not follow that religion, why should they listen to you? That's just what your religious text says. It's not logical, it's not persuasive unless you've been indoctrinated in the religion. Well, then there's sort of a defensive thing that you do where you say, well, yeah, I get what you're saying, but in another way, isn't everybody's ideology just religion? Is this convincing to you? People who care about the environment, they've made the environment their god. People who care about kids not being shot, they've made babies Jesus. That sort of fucking trick that they do. Where they're like, okay, no, I'll grant you that, like, we're just basing all of this off religion, or at least implying that we are. But you're also religious. In fact, you're more religious, even though you're not religious. You're more religious. So don't come at me with criticisms of my religion when you care about the quality of the air. It doesn't make any fucking sense when you just state it outright in a couple of minutes. But when you just allow people to soak in it for years or possibly decades, then it can maybe make a little bit of sense. When you're taught to not trust anyone who could reveal the grift that's being run on you, then maybe it can make some sense. Anyway, Claudius Draconis Maximus says they blew up the damn dam. Well, we will actually be talking about the damn dam coming up on the full show. Don't worry about that. Late Bloomer sends in a super chat saying, "Hey John, I'm proud to tell you that my 15-year-old granddaughter said she loves to listen to your show. I'm doing something right, and you're the main reason I am. I doubt that I'm the main reason. I'm sure you're doing plenty on your own, but I do appreciate that. And if your 15-year-old granddaughter is watching, thank you for caring about what happens to this country." Stematina F said, been here for 29 months, says, "G'day, Dragon Squad and Dragon Daddy. Have any ideas for the Dragon Squad land name? My suggestion is Anaphorazimion. It's Greek for damage report. Anaphorazimion? It's a bit long. Would fit in a fantasy world, though, I guess. I've had titles, I've had country names in my fantasy novels that are worse, but, anyway. Hey, no making fun of my hair. Everybody didn't like that my hair was low. Well, today it ended up being high. What will please you people? Anyway, Roller Dragon says, I take this time to thank the ninja gifter, Tyler Hackner, and religion is allegory and control, period. Look, it can be other things for other people. Not everyone is trying to control everyone with their religion. We're going to be talking about religion actually a little bit later on with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yes, Tyler Hackner, always be gifting. Thank you, Tyler. It is much appreciated. Okay, so let's move on from that. You know what? I was going to talk about the Apple Vision Pro, the new goggles. I think I'm going to try to talk about that during one of the social breaks with Dan, because I know he's super into tech, so we'll be talking about that there. I will say I have criticisms. I'd love to try it, but I have some criticisms. You should know that in addition to the writers, the Hollywood Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, has now approved a strike. 97.91% of ballots cast supported a strike. Nearly 65,000 members voted, and they were pretty clear. It's a union of 160,000 people. By the way, that doesn't mean that they're having a strike right now. It just means that they've pre-authorized that if that's what the leadership does. We'll see what the leadership does. I have my thoughts. I'm not going to say anything yet. It's based on privileged information, but we'll see what happens. I believe that I read that the directors had potentially struck some sort of deal. Directors Guild of America reaches truly historic deal with Hollywood studios. So it doesn't look at this point like the directors are going to be joining. That is, by the way, disappointing. You know, might be all well and good that they've got what they wanted, but this is about something bigger than any one individual's pay or benefits, or at least I would hope. See what happens. See what happens. Okay, we have 37 minutes. Let's get through a few more things. By the way, how many of you are big... Hold on a second. Saw a snooker champ playing an AR so realistic he leaned on the table. That's kind of funny, actually. How many of you use Reddit? Are you seeing this policy change for third-party apps for Reddit? I have been using Reddit for a very long time. I don't use it like constant. No, I guess I use it multiple times a day. Is that constant? I don't post constantly, but I do it. I use Reddit for a few different things. At various points for video games, although not right now. Although maybe I'll look into the Tears of the Kingdom subreddit. But I do use it for woodworking, photography, my home gym. I use it for that sort of stuff. Anyway, a lot of people really frustrated. Yeah, I don't know if Reddit is like a one-to-one replacement for Twitter. It's a very different sort of thing. But it's definitely more positive as long as you choose carefully with what subreddits you go to. But anyway, lots of communities going dark. We will see if this policy change has what it takes to potentially kill Reddit, which has been around for a long time. Sites like Reddit have failed before. What was the big one that was very similar to Reddit? What was that called? Where you could upvote and downvote posts? I don't even remember. Is that potentially what's coming to Reddit? No, not 4chan. Dig. Yeah, no, I think it was Dig, actually. I once went to a live podcast. There was a Dig podcast. I went to a live recording of one of them. That was like the big thing. I wonder, could Reddit potentially be headed in that direction? I don't know. I use, well, I can't check right now because it's on there. I think I use a third-party thing. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, we'll see. Okay, very briefly, I want to turn to this. I'm going to play a video for you, and I want you to all tell me, did this happen or not? Okay? Here's Harris Faulkner.
We know who we are, and we know whose we are. For those of us who believe, we must be bold in our faith right now. When you gather in public spaces, pray thankfully over your food. Even when the server gives you the stink eye or tells the manager that your peaceful grace is triggering them. Had it happen to me. I've been asked to leave a restaurant for openly bowing my head in prayer hands.
In prayer hands?
In America.
In prayer?
It's all good. They don't deserve my money anyway.
Now look, I wasn't there. She probably wasn't either. So I cannot say that that didn't happen. But what I can say is that that didn't happen. Get the fuck out of here! Come on! Come on! Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. But let me say this. I was a fucking waiter for years. I was a bartender. I was a busboy. I did all of that shit. You know what I wanted? I wanted to get through my goddamn shift. The idea that I would give the stink eye to a table because they're bowing their head in prayer hands, it's a great way to get a good tip. They're asking you to leave because you prayed. No way. Look, I will extend as much goodwill as I am able and say, maybe she was asked to leave after something happened, and maybe part of that something was her bowing her head in prayer hands. I am incredibly dubious about the possibility that there was nothing else going on. Come on, man. Where would you be? That somebody says, I saw you praying and so I was triggered. Come on. This is a fucking scam. This is her attempt to look pious and superior and victimized at the same time to the audience of Fox News. That's all. That did not happen. She is their straight news person, by the way. Fairly clearly lying. Again, I can't say for sure that it didn't happen, but come the fuck on. By the way, both Asin and Kat Abou-Ghazaleh have been doing a good job of profiling what appears to be her attempt to, I don't know if she wants to take Tucker Carlson's place or what's going on. Okay, I'm gonna be cold. Where did my window go? God damn it. Every time you get called on Skype, it wrecks the place. Okay, here we go. Take a look at this. Straight news person.
It's as though people on the left have more free time than anybody else. They want to acronym and pronoun us to death. Well, know this. The Lord has determined I am a woman, and my pronouns are USA.
They really do have one joke, don't they? Your pronouns are yours. It's just a name. It's just the name. That's what the name of the country is. I would love to get them to admit through, if waterboarding if necessary, you get that you have pronouns, right? You get that this is not about us wanting pronouns and you guys being against pronouns. You get that you just disagree about which pronouns other people should use, right? By the way, I guess leftists just have more time than everyone else. Well, I don't know. I think that some conservatives have a little bit of time. If you can go to Target and film TikToks of just you pissing your pants over the fact that there's rainbows, you have a little bit of free time. If you can buy beer that you're supposedly boycotting to then set up in a field and tear into with an assault rifle, you've got a little bit of free time. Maybe not as much as a leftist, but you've got a little bit of time. Okay, we're going to turn to Arnold Schwarzenegger right now. So Arnold Schwarzenegger did an interview in Interview Magazine, which I've always thought was a good place to do interviews. He's speaking with Danny DeVito. I don't actually know why. Why was he speaking with Danny DeVito? I mean, I know that they did Twins together and everything. I loved Twins growing up. Okay, they were in a Culver City studio. It's the launch of FUBAR. Wait a second. Oh, he's doing a TV show. Hold on a second. Let's watch 1 minute of this, and we'll see if we think it's interesting. Okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger on TV. What do you know?
You came along. What was the plan? To kill all of you and then to leave. And now, with all our guns out, I'll manage.
You're the fastest 65-year-old white guy on the planet.
I guess I'm done.
You are officially retired.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop at that, and I'm gonna say that looks pretty good. Wait a second, is it already out? Is FUBAR already out? FUBAR release date. That looks pretty good. Oh, it's been out for like a week. I might have to watch that. I'm watching Barbecue Showdown right now, but once I'm done with Barbecue Showdown, I might have to watch that because that's a good line. I like it. Anyway, so he's talking with Danny DeVito, and Danny DeVito asks him, "What's in the future for us?" And I think he means that we're going to do a remake of Twins, but I'm joking. Arnold Schwarzenegger responds, "It reminds me of Howard Stern's question to me. Tell me, Governor, what happens to us when we die? I said nothing. You're 6 feet under. Anyone that tells you something else is a fucking liar. I said, we don't know what happens with the soul and all the spiritual stuff that I'm not an expert in, but I know that the body as we see each other now, we will never see each other again like that." Which, by the way, that almost seems like he's backing off of what he's saying. Like that he's just saying that physically we won't see each other, but that we'll be in heaven together. He doesn't seem to believe that, because he goes on to say, when people talk about, I will see them again in heaven, it sounds so good. But the reality is that we won't see each other again after we're gone. That's the sad part. I know people feel comfortable with death, but I don't. To me, heaven is where I put a person who I love dearly, who is kind, who is generous, who made a difference in my life and other people's lives. And I don't know what the reaction a lot of people are going to have to that will be. I imagine Fox News is going to attack him. I will say, I did not Gloating Lizard. I'm not a fan of speedruns, I will say. In theory, I respect optimization. I will say I've never really understood playing a game for like 3 years so that you can cut a second off of your run. That just, to me, it's not fun. I like to play different games and stuff like that. It is impressive to go through with a blindfold. I don't know how you did it, but I also don't need to do it myself. But anyway, on what Arnold Schwarzenegger said, it is basically, it's what I believe. I mean, look, I don't even do the thing of heaven is where I place them in my head. Heaven doesn't mean anything to me. I place in my head the things that are in my brain, my memories. I have memories of people. I've lost people. I've lost all of my grandparents. My father passed away many years ago. So I try to remember those people. I think about them. I have, every once in a while it pops into my head like, I have a lot of regret that my father passed away when I was very young. So he will never know, what I ended up doing in my life. He never met my wife. He's never going to meet, I almost slipped, my child. I didn't say anything more specific than that. That is unfortunate to me. But that does not convince me that heaven exists. It just doesn't. Or that the afterlife of any other religion or philosophy exists. I don't believe that it does. And I will say, for some people, I do think that the purpose of it is to make death seem less scary. I don't know in practice how successful it is at doing that. Because I know that a lot of people are still really scared of death. Look, the idea of not existing anymore is really unfortunate. I wish that we were immortal, but we're not. And, until Living Plus is up and running, we probably won't be. But I will also say that there's a thing, I don't remember where I first saw this, but so like the idea of nothingness, of dying, and then there's just nothingness. Initially, I think some people think of that as being scary or mysterious. But is it though? because they I forget who it was. They said, do you remember any anxiety or pain before you existed? And of course you don't. It was nothing. There's nothing negative about nothing. There can't be. It's nothing. There was just nothing. And so if that is what we experience when we die, which absent evidence that has not been presented is the only plausible outcome, then, I mean, it doesn't seem that bad. It's not preferable to me, to living, or else I would stop living if it were preferable. But it doesn't seem bad. I don't know. It's like, it's unfortunate, I guess. I agree, non-human humanist. So anyway, I know that a lot of people would try to attack Arnold Schwarzenegger's argument as being immoral or at least amoral or something, but no, I don't think so. I think John said the baby's name yesterday. No, when? When did I say the name? I don't think I said it. I don't think any of you know what it is. Someone in the audience did say, there were occasionally guesses. Someone did come very close, but they didn't quite get it. Okay. I liked sunny weather, John, better. No, I'm in a good mood. I know that you think that I guess Stone Crab Angie, I agree. No, what I'm saying is everything's going to be okay. Or at least it's not going to be bad because it can't be bad because it's going to be nothing. So, anyway, I'll leave you on that, which is not a depressing thought, okay? It's just a base level thought. We've got Dan Evans coming up. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be doing Meanwhile talking about some news from around the world. Do you think your son could be your dad reincarnated? Well, you're not going to get me to say anything about sex or anything based on that. But no, I don't believe so. Neverman is here, says, time doesn't exist without you, so if there is a rebirth, it is instant to you. Well, time doesn't exist, I would say, for you without you, but I think that time exists as a natural outgrowth of the existence of matter, at least to my understanding. Non-Human Humanist says, watch Torchwood Miracle Day, then you will understand dying is a precious gift. I suppose it can be. Crystal, that's a lie, and you're a liar. It is Trixie Iderola. I'm having a kid named Trixie. I will say some of the names that I wanted it to be. I did at one point want Jinx, and I failed in getting Jinx. A big fan of Arcane and League of Legends. I think it's a cool name, but it's not going to happen. I was shut down on that. As well as any number of names from fantasy novels, unfortunately. Anyway, with that said, I do have to run. We will talk soon. I'll see you on the show. Bye-bye.